everyone, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Legacy. My mic has been being rude lately, and not recording any of my audio, and I just found out it's because, likely during some internet troubles or something, I didn't have Wi-Fi all day Sunday and all day Monday. Basically, I'm fairly certain that a bunch of stuff got unplugged that should not have gotten unplugged. And so I recorded 2 episodes the night the internet went out. Got a bunch of stuff done, surprisingly. You'd be amazed at how productive you are when you have nothing better to do, to be honest. I'd done all my homework. No audio. None whatsoever. I fixed it. I found the thing that needed to be plugged in. My mic now does the thing where it lights up to let me know it's on. So hopefully I fixed it. I was looking for some iron. Oh, right, hold on. I think yeah, I did something. That was all that I did. Wow, almost a full stack of iron. I feel rich. Let's get a stick out, because I'm gonna need a new sword soon. I guess I'll show you what I did. Just in case I didn't, we're gonna look at the meaty goodness chest. It's just a double chest full of pork. But I'm proud of it. That's a lot of pork. Worked a bunch on the hot air balloon. It looks like a sphere now. It looks a lot like a sphere now. Like a lot. I think it looks really cool. I finished all 4 sides. I'm gonna get that sheep in a sec. Finished all 4 sides. Started on the top. You know, doing things. Swim over here, and we actually need to go up there because I did some stuff up there. Oh, how lovely. You've gone and fallen. You're not a starter sheep. Disappointing. Did some stuff up on the hill. I built an entire house over 2 episodes. Talked a bunch about architecture and anthropology and exactly why I do roofs and built in the style the way I do. It's essentially because it's historically accurate. Like, I know there weren't hot air balloons. I'm doing hardcore fantasy. But, most of my roofs and stuff are fairly accurate for the sort of range of time I'm building in. Which is, medieval Europe. Or actually pre-medieval Europe. This stuff is, like... I'd say prehistoric, but it's like barely historic. Like, I don't have a word for it, or I'd share better. Yeah, but we built this lovely little house with this nice gabled roof to let the snow fall off. It's got a lovely interior. You can, taste the fog if you want, as clouds go through it. I have 3 wolves, so maybe I'll look for more and we'll work more on the hot air balloon. That's like all I did. So. Woohoo! For 40 minutes of recording down the drain because someone unplugged something by accident. Frustrating. I guess I'll go add this to the top now. Or to the balloon now, since I can't exactly go, get more without getting murked. Ow. Guess I'll go around that again. Ruby Walk Challenge. There we go. I don't have a lot of plans for this episode. It's already late because I didn't have Wi-Fi the entire day I was supposed to edit it. I didn't bring scaff. No Wi-Fi on the editing day, so I didn't actually edit it. I just recorded another episode that I can't release because no audio. And I struggle to watch videos without audio, so I won't force that upon y'all and say, hey, appreciate my video that is bad because there is no audio. Instead, because I'm a little stressed, we're gonna talk about my favorite Minecraft phenomenon, the farlands. So, if you've been in the Minecraft community long enough, you've likely heard of these if you've been in it for any semi-significant amount of time. The farlands start at 12.5 million blocks out, and they are exclusive to Bedrock and pre-beta 1.8 Java edition. And what they are is it's like a giant wall of Swiss cheese Minecraft terrain, and it happens because the noise generator that creates Minecraft terrain breaks. Past that 12.5 million and whatever, because I don't have the exact number memorized, the noise generator doesn't work properly, and so you get the Swiss cheese mountain look. At least at the edge farlands. It's 12.5 million blocks out, as I've just reiterated for like the 4th time. They look like Swiss cheese. Oh jeez. Oh my god, that scared me badly. They look like Swiss cheese, and typically trees will not spawn there because there is no room for trees to spawn there. Is he still following me? Oh my god, that was... He came out of nowhere! That was terrifying. Typically trees won't spawn in the farlands because there is no room for them to do so. Oh, I'm very squishy. Because of the Swiss cheese nature of the farlands, there's very little area that is actually tall enough for a tree to spawn. You can still find them. It's just extremely rare. There is a glitch where if you go far enough and do something, you can force your spawn chunks to regenerate in whatever area of the farlands you're in, and if there's trees in your spawn chunks, you can do that and get the trees to the farlands, but I don't know the specifics of that glitch, how it works. I know none of that. So... Sort of sheep. That's farlands and trees. All ore except coal are extremely common. I believe there's a few areas where coal actually straight up does not spawn in the farlands. One of those being the corner farlands, or the sandwich zone. This is essentially, you have a top layer, you have dry layers, and you have wet layers. The top layer isn't too interesting, it's just some normal Minecraft terrain. Flat like a plains. I have wool, I can work on that more. Flat like plains typically has caves and stuff. It gets interesting once you go down to the dry layers, which are typically extremely dark because holes that poke through the top layer aren't particularly common. So these dry layers are usually rife with mobs, and there's an interesting bit about their cave generation. They'll often have caves that are carved entirely out of dirt. Because the game doesn't quite... I don't actually know the specifics behind that one, but... caves that have like ceilings and walls and floors made of dirt are particularly common in the dry layers. Sometimes, depending on where water pools and lava lakes will spawn, you can get water and lava dripping down from the top layer onto the second most dry layer. And I believe you can get it dripping from dry layer onto wet layer, but I don't know the specifics. Beneath the dry layers at sea level, you get the wet layers, which are just like the dry layers, but flooded. So typically no mobs. They're still dark as all get out, because no light. But an interesting thing about them is that they'll have massive floating beaches. Just massive pockets of floating sand. If you modify the sand at all, it does all fall down, but otherwise it's just a lot of sand that just floats there in the water, doing nothing. this isn't. There we go. Let's see. Errors start to crop up long before you actually hit the 12.5 million noise generator breaking. At about 16,000. It's over 16,000, but it's a multiple of 2. Or no, it's a power of 2, so it's like 16,000 something something. At that point, you start to get floating point precision errors, I believe they're called, which is where the game registers you a little to the side of where you actually are. This causes the game to be jumpy and stuttery. Items will kind of stutter back and forth like they're on ice, but lagging really bad. If you've ever thrown an item onto ice on a really laggy server and just seen it bounce back and forth, that is exactly what it looks like. And it gets worse every single power of 2 that you pass. So you're at 16,000, it's perhaps not that bad. You're at 32,000, it is twice as bad as it is at 16,000. 64,000, it is 4 times as bad as it is at 16,000. And it just keeps compounding and gets worse and worse and worse until there's a point at which, and this is fairly deep into the farlands, but there's a point at which you are 32 blocks to the side of where the game renders you. That's an interesting one. I believe you have to get pretty deep into the farlands. I think it's definitely before the 34 million able to pass this in survival limit. Because at 34 million blocks, the game starts to render fake chunks, where they look real, but you fall right through them. That's the point at which you definitely need cheats if you want to keep going. But there's plenty past it. There's a lot past it, so if you're interested, it's always... There's nothing wrong with installing some flying mods to get you past there. Let's see. The farther lands start at about 9 billion, I believe, blocks out. But don't quote me on it. I don't have the numbers memorized, but I do know a lot about the glitches. And this is where the noise generator breaks again. Uh-oh. Ouch. This is where the noise generator breaks again, creating the farlands, but smoother, if that makes sense. Flatter, more cubic. The errors are even worse here. You would fall through the chunks immediately if you don't have cheats. The game registers you really far to the side of where you're at. It's extremely jumpy, extremely stuttery. Nothing really works the way it's supposed to, because you're not supposed to be able to get that far out. Let's see. I don't remember how far out the farther lands are, and I've actually never seen them, because I believe they're past the chunk override limit, which is at like 34 billion. I'm just spitting out random numbers at this point. I don't know where the chunk override limit is. The chunk overwrite limit is essentially where Minecraft cannot load more chunks because there is no more memory to do so. It simply cannot handle the amount of chunks it would have to die. It would have to have saved if it were to allow you to go out that fast. At this point, the second you hit that, you receive an out of memory screen, though a few players have been able to cheese the engine and go a few blocks past. Past this point, you need either some serious cheat engines to keep the game running, or you're forcing generation into like dummy worlds where you're saying, okay, use this part of the terrain generator, which is I think how we know what the farther lands look. They're past this limit, they're almost completely smooth. There goes that sword. And I've personally never seen them because there's no way to get a screenshot of them in game. Past the farther lands, I might be doing these out of order. I can't remember if the farther lands or if the stripe lands come first, but somewhere along the line you get the stripe lands. And the stripe lands are essentially where the stripe lands would have to be after the farther lands. The stripe lands are... How did you get in here? You spawned. Essentially where the game... The chunk rendering is so screwed up that it renders blocks in two-dimensional planes. And the interesting thing about this is it's still a full 3D block. Like, say this was the block where it had a 2D plane, there'd be a skipped block and then a block where it has another 2D plane. You could walk along these 2D planes just fine, but if you step into the void in the middle, you get stuck. You get very stuck. You can teleport from stripe to stripe, but if you touch that middle void, you're stuck there and you gotta TP out. Let's see. There's some stuff on the farthest lands, but again, it's just another break of the noise generator ridiculously far out, where you're not supposed to be able to get certain sheep. I think the, it's not a certain sheep. Next interesting limit is the 64-bit limit, where if you don't have a cheat, where even cheat engines struggle to keep the game running. And then the next I don't know a lot about how that breaks. The next interesting limit after that is the 1024-bit limit. At this point, you are 1.8 times 10 to the 308 power blocks out. This is the point at which you need something powerful to keep the game running, because Minecraft becomes unplayable and breaks long before this. But it's also the point at which your coordinates will tick over to infinity, because the largest integer the game can handle is 1.8 times 10 to the 308 power minus 1. Once you go past that, if you can somehow do it, your coordinates tick over to infinity. I don't think anyone's ever gone past that, simply because there's not much that can happen past that. That's the point at which the game is so broken that there's no point in seeing how much more you can break it, except sheer malice, maybe. Yeah, that's my stuff on the farlands. Oh, the cornerlands don't spawn coal. There's more errors, definitely, but I don't... It's been a few days since I last read the wiki page, so I don't have it super memorized. I think I'll have to do something to make my sand digging areas not look ugly. I put my scaff away. Let's finish up this hot air balloon so I can get this episode edited and out, hopefully today. Because this was supposed to go out at noon, but I wasn't home, and I didn't get it edited or uploaded the day before because no Wi-Fi, and then there was no sound. I've had a rough few days. Alright. Let's get this balloon. Fun fact, these are all going to be white because dyes don't exist in this version. I cannot dye the things red. I don't think we get dyes until like lapis and bone meal are introduced, because at that point we also have things like cactus and you can craft every single color from everything. And then dyes don't get an update until like 1.4 when they get the massive overhaul that they had, and you can get blue dye from flowers. Amazing addition, if you ask me. But that's because I like color. Yeah, whoa, I'm lagging. Ooh. We'll put these there, and there we go. Great, bit of a short episode, but that's all the time I have for today. I have several other things I have to get done tonight. So, thank you for watching. If you're part of the morning crew, I hope you have a great day. If you're part of the evening crew, I hope your day's been great. And if you're part of the afternoon crew, well, I hope your day is going alright. I've been Ruby Robotic, and I will catch y'all in the next episode.